Hello everyone and welcome back to the Where in the World series here on Go Westeros. In this episode, just like we did last time, we will be looking at 3 minor houses of Westeros, what they've been up to, where in the world they are, and how they pertain to the overall story being told. Last episode, we looked at houses Botley, Corbray and Ironwood, and this week we'll be checking up with House Stokeworth of the Crownlands, House Cerwin in the north, and House Redwine of the Reach. At this point, I should mention that this does contain spoilers for all 5 novels of A Song of Ice and Fire, so if you're not up to date, I wouldn't continue on much further. I'm your host Jack, let's dive right in. House Stokeworth is a noble house from the Crownlands. Their lordly seat is the castle of Stokeworth, which is situated north of the capital city of King's Landing. Their sigil is a white lamb holding a golden goblet on a field of green. Their words are, proud to be faithful. The Stokeworths are loyal to the Baratheons of King's Landing, which of course by extension means the Lannisters, due to the castle's location. At the start of A Song of Ice and Fire, the head of House Stokeworth is Lady Tanda. There is no male lord throughout the duration of the story so far. Let's talk a little on the history of the Stokeworths. There are a few things of note, such as Felina Stokeworth, who was the first of King Aegon IV's famous mistresses. Later on, Dunk spots the Stokeworth arms at the Ashford tourney, and in those same novellas, Dunk remembers a time when Sir Arlan of Pennytree tells him that he overthrew a Lord Stokeworth at a tourney melee in King's Landing. Of course, you can read about those in the Tales of Dunk and Egg. Fantastic, I recommend them. In more recent history, a Manly Stokeworth, what a name, was a commander of the City Watch of King's Landing. It isn't explicitly stated whether or not he was the Lord of Stokeworth, but it is speculated that he perished in the sack of King's Landing at the end of Robert's Rebellion, and that he was possibly Lady Tanda's husband. When we come to the present time and the first book, A Game of Thrones, we are only told of the Stokeworths. In a meeting with Ned Stark, Littlefinger claims that he is on his way to dine with Lady Tanda, discuss a possible match with her daughter Lollys. Littlefinger notes that he is looking forward to eating her food, but remarks that he would rather marry the pig on the menu than marry Lollys. In another meeting between the two later on, Littlefinger again says he is on his way to dine with the Lady Stokeworth, and mocks that if the fatted calf is half as fat as Lollys, he would likely rupture and die. So yeah, it's made abundantly clear that Peter Baelish has little love for the Stokeworth ladies and regards them very little and no more than oaths. Lady Tanda is in hopes to marry him to her daughter, which suggests that even Littlefinger is above the Stokeworths standing in court. But, again, Baelish does regard them as very little. Saying that, following the death of King Robert, Littlefinger considers Lady Tanda as a possible ally for Stark to dispose of the Lannisters. So perhaps the schemer doesn't just think very little of them, although I guess he does think very little of anyone who isn't himself. We first meet Lady Tanda in A Clash of Kings. She is one of the remaining courtiers after the beginning of the hostilities with the North. She attends the tourney for King Joffrey's 30th name day with her 2 daughters, Lollys and Felice, I'll say Felice, that sounds better. She cheers Prince Tommen. When Tyrion Lannister arrives at the Red Keep, Lady Stokeworth instantly starts hounding him and tries to coax him during lavish meals to marry Lollys. The same thing she tried with Littlefinger. Tyrion, of course, repeatedly tries dodging her invitation. When supplies start getting low in King's Landing due to the War of the Five Kings, Lady Tanda and Lord Charles Rosby, a house we'll be looking at in a future episode, provide half of the food of the city as their lands lie close and are still untouched by the fighting. Now later on in A Clash of Kings, dark times fall on the ladies of House Stokeworth. Lady Tanda and her daughter Lollys are part of the procession through King's Landing to see Princess Marcella off to Dawn. There is a riot due to food shortages, and the mob goes mad in the streets. Lady Tanda is saved by Sir Horace Redwyne, but Lollys is not so lucky and is left behind. Lady Tanda begs the king's men to search for her daughter, and it is discovered that Lawless is the victim of a gang rape behind a tanner's shop in which 50 men participated in. A goddamn truly horrific event for anyone to go through. Thankfully though, Lawless does survive, and when Tyrion and Varys discuss options for bringing Tyrion's lover Shay into the Red Keep without Cersei knowing, they put her in Lawless's service. Prior to the Battle of Blackwater, Lady Tynder's other daughter Felice arrives with a small number of soldiers from Stokeworth to provide for King Joffrey's forces. During the battle itself, Lady Tynder and her daughters are invited by Queen Cersei to seek refuge with her in the Queen's ballroom, which is in Maegor's Holdfast. Sansa Stark runs into them, observing Felice trying to coax a resistant Lawless into the drawbridge heading into the Holdfast. So she's still pretty damn shaken up. When Tynder remarks that Lawless is not feeling well, Sansa thinks of the rumours that Lawless was pregnant. Following the meal in the ballroom, Cersei grants the Stokeworth ladies leave to the Sept. And following the battle, the three are present at the presentation of heroes and captives. Sansa remarks how pretty each of them looks in their gowns. When we come to a Storm of Swords, we get confirmation that Lawless is pregnant. Upon Shay's advice, Lady Tynder hires Simon Silvertongue to sing to Lawless to calm her down when the baby starts kicking. Later on, Lady Tynder offers Lawless as a wife for Tyrion to Lord Tywin. That suggestion is rejected. Upon hearing this, Tyrion states that he would rather cut off his penis than marry Lawless. Poor girl. Lady Tynder is a guest at King Joffrey's wedding to Margaery Tyrell and gives the king a pair of supple riding boots as a gift. She flees the throne room as Joffrey is choking and is drawing his last breath, meeting Sansa Stark on the way. She tells Sansa, "You have a good heart, my lady. Not every maid would weep so for a man who would set aside and wed her to a dwarf. The gods were cruel to take him so young and handsome at his own wedding feast." During a visit to Tyrion in his cell, Ser Bronn of the Blackwater tells him that he is expected at Castle Stokeworth for dinner, revealing that he has been offered to marry Lawless. Tyrion, suspecting of a plot by Cersei to get Bronn out of the way, points out that Lawless is pregnant from another man and that she won't even inherit Stokeworth when old Lady Tynder dies. Felice would. Bronn doesn't seem to be bothered and makes an ominous suggestion that Felice might die before her mother. In a feast for crows, Lady Tynder remains at Stokeworth with her daughter. Lady Tynder writes to Cersei that she cannot attend Lord Tywin's wake because Lawless is too pregnant to travel. Felice goes in her stead. She asks Queen Cersei permission to name Lawless's child after Lord Tywin, as she had been admiring him above all men. Cersei strongly objects to the idea, telling Felice that she does not want a bastard resulting from gang rape bearing her father's reputable name. Felice is shocked by such, but her own husband, Sir Balman Birch, assures her that they will find the child a more appropriate name. None of the Stokeworth ladies attend the wedding of King Tommen to Margaery. Grand Maester Pycelle informs Cersei that Lady Tynder has sent news that Lawless has delivered a healthy, strong son and that the child's name is Tyrion. Lady Tynder insists that the name was not her idea, but Ser Bronn's, Lawless's husband and friend of Tyrion. Later on, more sad news for House Stokeworth. Whilst on a ride, the elderly Lady Tynder falls from her horse when her saddle girth bursts. She shatters her hip. She is attended by Maester Frenken, who is assuring Felice that he is doing everything he can. When Queen Cersei inquires about the condition of her dear, dear mother, Felice suggests there is little hope and that they have started praying for her. Cersei assures Felice that she will pray for Lady Tynder herself and tells her that Tynder is the sister she never had. Cersei enlists the help of Felice and her husband, Sir Balman Birch, in eliminating Ser Bronn. However, the plan goes awry. Bronn kills Sir Balman and forces Felice to leave the castle. She flees back to King's Landing and begs Cersei for men to retake Stokeworth from the man who is claiming to be the new Lord of Stokeworth. Cersei, fearing the failure of the plot would undermine her position, gives Felice to her man Qyburn, exclaiming that Felice should never see the light of day again. At a later time, Cersei contemplates sending Felice back to Stokeworth to reclaim it, but Qyburn tells her that she is not able to feed herself, much less rule. Pretty damn ominous. Lollys succeeds both Lady Tanda and Lady Felice as Lady of Stokeworth, with Bronn as her lordly husband. Sometimes during a dance with dragons, Felice dies, screaming due to torture and experiments from Qyburn, and that is the last we see of the Stokeworths until the Winds of Winter hits the shelves. And I, for one, can't wait to see what Bronn gets up to next. House Cerwyn is one of the principal noble houses in the north of Westeros. Their lordly seat, Castle Cerwyn, which sits on the western branch of the White Knife River, is situated just half a day's ride southeast from Winterfell, making them one of the closest bannermen to the Starks. The Wiki says they are among the most powerful of the Northern family. Their sigil is a black battle axe on a white field, and their words are "owned and ready." At the start of the events of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Lord is Lord Medgar Cerwyn. Our introduction to House Cerwyn comes in Book 1. Lord Medgar comes to Winterfell when Robb Stark calls his banners when the news of Ned Stark's arrest reaches the north. Bran Stark spots the Cerwyn sigil, among others. It is noted that Lord Medgar brings his daughter Janelle with him. He has another son, Clay, his heir, whom he leaves at the castle, presumably to rule in his absence. On their march south, Lord Medgar is placed under Lord Roose Bolton's command when the Northern Army splits. Other interesting notes, Theon Greyjoy suspects that Lord Medgar plans to put his girl Janelle in Robb Stark's bed. The Greyjoy number also threatens to return with his levies if he is placed behind either the Hornwoods or the Cerwyns in the order of the march. The wiki suggests that this is suggesting that the three houses have comparable strength. As mentioned, the Cerwyns are placed under command of Lord Bolton, and they fight in the Battle of the Green Fork. The wiki lists Medgar as one of the commanders, alongside Roose Bolton, Sir Willis Manderley, Harry Karstark, and Lord Hallis Hornwood. The Northmen are defeated, and Lord Medgar is taken captive to Harrenhal by the Westermen. That is the last we see or hear of the Cerwyns in the first book. When we come to A Clash of Kings, we meet Clay Cerwyn for the first time. He comes to Winterfell with 24 lances for the Harvest Feast. Clay Cerwyn dances with Beth Cassell during the feast. One of the Cerwyn men regards King Joffrey as Joffrey the Ill-Born. Later on in King's Landing, acting hand of the King Tyrion Lannister offers to exchange Lord Medgar Cerwyn and Donald Locke for his cousin Tion Frey, claiming that a Lannister is worth 2 Northmen. Again, later in A Clash of Kings, whilst at Harrenhal, Arya Stark sees Medgar Cerwyn a prisoner, a bed in a tower cell. He is recovering from a wound sustained at the Battle of the Green Fork. However, Lord Medgar never recovers, and he dies whilst imprisoned. Arya sees 3 Silent Sisters taking away a body covered by a cloak decorated with the Cerwyn sigil. Elsewhere in the north, the new Lord of Cerwyn, Clay, brings 300 men to join Sir Roderick Castle as he marches to clear the Ironborn out of the Stony Shore. Whilst this is happening, Theon Greyjoy has taken Winterfell, and before launching a final attack to take it back, Sir Roderick stops at Castle Cerwyn. Clay is then sent to Winterfell under a peace banner announcing that Sir Roderick wishes to parley. Men from the Dreadfort arrive, believed to be northern reinforcements. However, when Sir Roderick extends his arm to their helmeted leader, it is taken off at the elbow. The helmeted commander is revealed to be Ramsay Snow. The Bolton men attack the Stark army, leading to fighting in the streets in the Winter town. In the fighting, Lord Clay Cerwyn is slain by an arrow to the eye. His body is later presented to Theon Greyjoy, now styling himself as Prince. We don't hear anything of the remaining Cerwyns until the fifth book, A Dance of Dragons. Lady Janelle Cerwyn swears fealty to the new warden in the north, Roose Bolton. To show loyalty to the Boltons, she contributes troops to Ramsay's force to retake Moat Cailin. She is at Barraton after Moat Cailin is retaken. Although there are Cerwyn men at Winterfell for Ramsay Bolton's wedding, it is unknown if Janelle accompanied them. Hopefully we see more of Lady Janelle and any possible Cerwyns in the Winds of Winter. I feel like they might have a part to play in the Grand Northern Conspiracy, of course, which you can read about over on Westeros.org and the Theories and Conspiracies thread. Check out some other people's videos. Really good stuff about that. And now we come to our third and final house of the episode. House Redwine of the Arbor is one of the main noble houses of the Reach. They rule over the Arbor, which is an island south of the Whispering Sound in the southwestern corner of Westeros. The Redwines themselves have strong ties to the Tyrells of Highgarden, including Lady Olenna Tyrell, otherwise called the Queen of Thorns, who was born a Redwine, and the current Lady Redwine, who is the sister of Lord Mace Tyrell. So a few family connections there in the current world. In the current standing of the Seven Kingdoms, Lady Olenna's influence has given House Redwine a strong voice in the Reach. Their sigil are purple grapes with a green leaf on a blue field. The grapes, of course, allude to the vineyards of the island, and it is widely regarded that the Arbor produces the best wine in Westeros. Although I'm sure the Dornish have something to say about that. The Redwines themselves also possess the largest fleet of the Seven Kingdoms, owning 200 warships and 5 times as many merchant vessels. Unfortunately, the words of House Redwine have not appeared in any canon or semi-canonical text. The Redwines themselves claim descent from Gilbert of the Vines, a legendary son of the legendary Garth Greenhand. They ruled as kings of the Arbor until the last king was lost at sea. His cousin, King Meryn Gardner III, took the island into the Kingdom of the Reach. Later in history, during Robert's Rebellion, also known as the War of the Usurper, Lord Paxter Redwyne joined his brother-in-law Lord Mace Tyrell in staying loyal to the Targaryens. His main contribution to the war was providing a naval blockade of Storm's End during Mace Tyrell's siege of the Great Castle. Our first introduction to the name Redwyne comes from Viserys Targaryen in A Game of Thrones. He believes they would rally to his side should he return to Westeros. The Redwyne twins, Horace and Hobber, are in King's Landing throughout the events of the War of the Five Kings. Both of them takes part in the Hand Tourney, although we do not know how they fared. We do know that they do not win. Both Sir Horace and Sir Hobber are mocked as horror and slobber by other members of the court. Peter Baelish considers them possible allies for Ned Stark. After the demise of King Robert, the twins remained in the capital. At the start of a clash of king, when Renly Baratheon self-coronates, the twins are kept as hostages, preventing House Redwyne from joining the Tyrells in declaring for Renly. After Renly is slain, Tyrion Lannister sends Sir Hobber back to their father, the Lord Paxter, in Littlefinger's retinue as a sign of trust. Sir Horace, however, is kept as insurance. And although he's not technically a hostage, by the end of A Clash of Kings, the Tyrells do, of course, side with the Lannisters, and with them follows the Redwynes of the Arbor. They help rout Stannis Baratheon at the Battle of Blackwater Bay. In A Storm of Swords, Lord Tywin Lannister grants Lord Paxter an advisory seat on the small council, along with a remission of taxes and certain vintages from the island for 30 years. Lord Redwyne and his sons become a fixture at court. Lord Paxter gives King Joffrey a scale replica of King Joffrey's Valor, a ship being built in his honour in the Arbor. The Redwynes both all witness Joffrey's murder and are called as witnesses in Tyrion Lannister's trial. Paxter recounts that he heard Tyrion threatening the boy king. In A Feast for Crows, the Redwynes attend the funeral for Lord Tywin, as well as the wedding between Tommen and Marjorie Tyrell. Paxter's niece by marriage. That's Marjorie Tyrell's Paxter's niece by marriage. His small council seat is revoked by Queen Cersei. She then tasked the Redwine fleet with the siege of Dragonstone. Lord Paxter has the initial command of the siege, intending to take the castle bloodlessly by either starving out its defenders or creating a breach in the walls through mining and forcing the defenders to surrender. With the recent development of Ironborn raiding in the Reach, there is more pressure to end the conflict quickly so the Redwine fleet can help out their homeland. Cersei believes Lord Paxter is taking too long, and Loras Tyrell is given command. Back in the Reach, the Arbor is assaulted by Ironmen, and the small defence fleet is defeated. Lord Paxter sails back to the Reach, and after Cersei's arrest by the Faith, he is reappointed as Master of Ships. By default, this means the Redwine fleet is acting as the royal fleet. Before Cersei's arrest, however, she has both Sir Horace and Sir Hobbit arrested as part of her intrigues against Marjorie Tyrell. The last reports we have of the Redwynes are that Lord Paxter was last seen sailing around Dawn, and his twin sons Sir Horace and Sir Horror and Slobber are found innocent. And as we wrap up on House Redwyne, we wrap up on this episode of Where in the World. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found at least some of what I've said helpful in your quest to gain as much knowledge of this world as possible. Remember to find me on Twitter at GoWesteros. Drop me a comment, a tweet, some advice or criticism, or just say hello. I've been Jack, your host, and I will see you all very soon.